Let's get right into it. Number 1. Déjà vu is just brain lag. You're walking into a room you swear you've never been in before, and boom, instant nostalgia. You look around like, did I die here in a past life? Is this a glitch in the Matrix? Nope. It's your brain being a little too confident about its memory recall. Déjà vu is what happens when your brain basically blurts out, I've seen this before double-checking if that's actually true. It's the psychological equivalent of hitting send on a risky text and then immediately regretting it. Scientists think it's a memory misfire, like your brain accidentally files a new experience into your old memories folder. Some researchers believe it might be a temporary hiccup between your short-term and long-term memory systems, kind of like when your computer opens a program twice and then freezes for 5 seconds. But here's the fun part. People who experience déjà vu often tend to have better memory overall. So next time your brain pulls this little party trick, just remember, you're not broken, you're just running some experimental software. Basically, it's your brain buffering real life like a bad Wi-Fi connection. Number 2. The phantom phone buzz. You feel it. The buzz in your pocket. You reach for your phone like a trained Pavlovian rat. Surprise! There's no notification. There's not even a phone in your pocket. Welcome to the age of phantom vibrations, the modern brain's newest form of self-humiliation. It's not ghosts. It's your brain hallucinating technology. Doctors call it phantom vibration syndrome. And yes, that's a real term used by real people with medical degrees. It happens because your brain has been conditioned to expect alerts, so conditioned, in fact, that it'll invent them just to feel something. It's like emotional FOMO, but for your nervous system. Your body is literally gaslighting you with fake alerts because it misses dopamine. And it doesn't help that phones train your brain like tiny slot machines. Tap, swipe, buzz, reward. Your brain is so desperate for a hit of novelty that it's like, was that a vibration? No? Let's pretend it was. Just in case. Congratulations, your leg is now a liar. Number 3. Your brain deletes reality. Have you ever driven home, arrived safely, and then realized you remember none of the drive? Like who was steering? Who let you operate a vehicle on autopilot? That's your brain filtering out what it deems unnecessary footage. It's called highway hypnosis or automaticity, and it's basically your brain's way of saying, you've done this before, I'll take it from here. While you're singing Taylor Swift or mentally crafting your next revenge fantasy, your brain goes into power-saving mode. It still handles complex tasks like turning, braking, and not crashing into grandma's, but without you consciously thinking about it. This is both amazing and terrifying. Amazing because your brain is efficient enough to multitask like a pro. Terrifying because you are literally a passenger in your own meat suit while it happens. It's like your consciousness clocks out, and your subconscious is like, cool, I'll cover the shift. Again. Number 4. Misplacing objects in the Twilight Zone. You put your keys on the table. You know you did. You saw it happen. But now they're gone. You check the fridge, the laundry basket, and under the dog, nothing. 5 hours later, boom. They're on the table. Where they always were. This isn't a haunting. It's just object permanence failure. Adult edition. Your brain filtered it out because it deemed it irrelevant at the time. Like how it forgets names 5 seconds after introductions. Basically, if your brain had a hard drive, this would be the corrupted file. You were on mental autopilot when you placed the keys, and that means the memory didn't get properly encoded. So your brain can't find the key file in your mental filing cabinet. And when you do find the keys, you're hit with an even worse glitch. Retroactive certainty. That moment where your brain gaslights you into thinking they were obviously there the whole time and you're the problem. Yes, your brain is casually gaslighting you. Again. Number 5. Hearing your name in the void. You're in a crowded room. It's loud. People are talking, laughing, existing. Suddenly, you hear your name. You snap your head around, nothing. No one said it. No one's even looking at you. Cool, so we're just hallucinating now? This little glitch is called the cocktail party effect, and it's your brain being an overachieving eavesdropper. Your auditory system is constantly scanning for relevant sounds. Your name, your crush's voice, the word pizza. even when you're not paying attention. But sometimes your brain gets a little too excited. It hears something kind of like your name and jumps to conclusions like it's starring in a teen drama. Even weirder, studies show that people under stress or who are socially anxious experience this more often, because their brains are on high alert, scanning the crowd like a nervous meerkat. So if you keep hearing voices that aren't there, congrats, you're either extremely popular or your brain has abandonment issues. Either way, it's listening. Always. Number 6. Thinking you forgot to lock the door. Again. You lock the door. You walk away. 5 steps later. Did I actually lock the door? You stop. You debate. You go back. The door is, in fact, locked. Of course it is. But your brain is over here like, can't trust that memory. Better double check. This one is a classic case of prospective memory failure, the part of your memory responsible for remembering to do things in the future, or remembering that you already did them. And it's especially bad when the action is automatic. Locking doors, turning off stoves, unplugging hair straighteners that weren't even plugged in to begin with. Because the action was so routine, your brain didn't bother to save the mental receipt. It filed it under probably fine, and deleted it from the active queue. So your rational brain is like, yes, we locked it. But your anxious brain is screaming, but what if we burn down the house? So you go back, again, and again, because your brain wants certainty, and it's not above manipulating you to get it. Your brain is basically the world's worst boss, micromanaging even after the job's done. Number 7. Words stop making sense. Have you ever looked at a totally normal word, like spoon or orange, and suddenly thought, wait, that can't be right. That looks wrong. That feels wrong. Congratulations. You've just experienced semantic satiation. It's when you repeat or stare at a word so long that it starts to lose all meaning. Your brain's like, you keep saying this? Again? All right, I'm just gonna unplug that part of the language center now. The word starts to sound weird, fake, like a noise a cartoon character would make when sneezing. The longer you think about it, the weirder it feels. Suddenly you're questioning language, reality, and whether spoon has ever been a real word. It's a classic case of mental burnout. Your neurons are tired of firing the same pathway over and over, so they just stop cooperating. Think of it like your brain going, this again? Boring. I quit. Your brain literally gives up on English out of spite. Number 8. Waking up and not knowing what year it is. You wake up. You stare at the ceiling. For a moment, nothing makes sense. Who are you? Where are you? What species are you? Welcome to sleep inertia, the delightful fog of confusion your brain throws at you during the transition between unconsciousness and wakefulness. During deep sleep, your brain is essentially offline, like it's been unplugged for repairs. When you suddenly wake up, especially from a nap or in a new environment, not all the systems boot back up at the same time. Think of your brain like an old Windows computer. Your vision loads first, then muscle control, then maybe speech. But memory and orientation? Yeah, those are still buffering. This can lead to some existential horror, even if it lasts only seconds. You might even look in the mirror and have a moment of, who the hell is that? Which, yes, is also a brain glitch called jamais vu, the opposite of déjà vu. So yeah, your brain wakes up like a drama queen with amnesia. Every single day. Number 9. Imagining conversations that never happened. You're in the shower, or lying in bed, or silently rage-scrolling, and suddenly you're having a full-blown argument, in your head with someone who isn't even there. Maybe it's your boss. Maybe it's your ex. Maybe it's the guy who looked at you funny in 2013. This is called rehearsed rumination, and it's your brain's way of preparing for social combat. Think of it like emotional dress rehearsal, except there's no audience and you still feel weird afterward. These imaginary conversations are powered by the same brain systems that handle real social interactions. Your brain literally lights up like you're actually arguing with someone. It's practicing scenarios, testing responses, and sometimes, let's be honest, just being petty. The kicker? This practice rarely helps. It just keeps you locked in a spiral of stress and imaginary comebacks you'll never use. Your brain thinks it's being productive, like it's writing the script to a legal drama where you finally get the last word. But really, it's just procrastinating real confrontation. Your brain is basically running a soap opera, and you're both the lead actor and the only viewer. Thinking people are talking about you. You're walking past a group of strangers. They're laughing. You instantly think, "It's me. They're laughing at me. I knew this shirt was a mistake." Say hello to the spotlight effect, a glitch in your social perception where you assume everyone notices you way more than they actually do. Spoiler alert, they don't. Your brain's self-awareness system is constantly on alert, and it assumes everyone else is just as focused on you as you are. But newsflash, everyone's too busy worrying about themselves to care what you're doing with your hair or whether your socks match. We all live in our own main character movie. And in other people's movies, you're just unnamed person number 6 walking past Starbucks. But the spotlight effect tricks you into thinking you're on stage, always being judged, always being watched, always being remembered. But really, no one else is keeping score. Not even a little. Your brain thinks you're famous. Reality disagrees. Number 11. Random childhood memories attacking at 2 a.m. You're trying to sleep. It's quiet, peaceful. Then, your brain hits you with a crystal-clear image of that time in 2nd grade when you called your teacher, Mom. Why? Why now? This is your brain's favorite night game. Involuntary autobiographical memory. These aren't repressed memories, just random mental spam that bubbles up when your guard is down. It's like your brain is cleaning out the attic at the worst possible time. This happens more often when you're tired, anxious, or lying in bed with zero distractions. Your brain doesn't know how to do nothing, so it just tosses old memories at you like it's hosting a one-man film festival. And of course, it's never the cool stuff you did. It's always the awkward, embarrassing, soul-wilting moments. Because shame memories come with a punch of adrenaline. So your brain filed them under extremely important. Basically, your brain is a chaotic archivist with no sense of timing or mercy. Number 12. Your brain can't tell time accurately. You glance at the clock, and the second hand seems to freeze for just a little too long. Like time just glitched. Congrats, you've just encountered the stopped clock illusion. This happens because your brain fills in the visual scene before your eyes fully land on the clock. It's called temporal interpolation, and it's your brain trying to be clever by guessing what you're about to see before you actually see it. But sometimes it guesses wrong. So the first second feels weirdly long. Like time paused, just a little. Not enough to cause panic, just enough to question your grip on reality. Your perception of time is also wildly inconsistent. A 5-minute wait at the dentist feels like an eternity. A 2-hour binge scroll on TikTok feels like 14 seconds. That's because time perception is tied to attention. The more you notice things happening, the slower time feels. So when you're bored, time drags. When you're engaged, time flies. And when you look at a clock, time straight up lies to you. Number 13. Zoning out mid-conversation. You're talking to someone. They're talking to you. You're nodding, smiling, doing the whole "I'm totally here" thing. But suddenly, you realize you haven't heard the last entire paragraph they said. Welcome to mind wandering, the brain's favorite escape room. It's what happens when your default mode network kicks in. The part of your brain that loves to daydream, plan, or reanalyze that one time you waved back at someone who wasn't waving at you. You didn't mean to zone out. It's not personal. It's just that your brain saw an opportunity to mentally wander into the void, and it took it. Especially if the conversation got a little boring, repetitive, or emotionally neutral. This isn't a flaw. It's just your brain optimizing its energy. Listening to people takes effort, and your brain, being the lazy genius it is, will absolutely hit pause on the external world if it thinks there's nothing critical going on. Of course, it only realizes this was a bad idea when the person ends their sentence with "right?" And you're left nodding like a confused bobblehead. Your brain, smart enough to wander, dumb enough to get caught. Number 14. Laughing when you're not supposed to. You're at a funeral, or in a meeting, or watching a friend explain their horrible day. And then, suddenly, you want to laugh. Not because it's funny, but because your brain is sabotaging you. This glitch is called incongruous effect, and it happens when your emotional response doesn't match the social setting. In other words, your brain short-circuits and spits out the wrong reaction under pressure. It's often a form of relief behavior. Laughter, even inappropriate laughter, helps release internal tension. So when you're overwhelmed, awkward, or anxious, your brain defaults to its old coping mechanism. Maybe a giggle will help? No, brain. No, it will not. It gets worse the more you try to not laugh. Because now you're suppressing it, which makes your brain more focused on it, which just adds fuel to the mental dumpster fire. So you sit there, biting your tongue, looking like you've either completely lost it or have some very dark opinions on grief. Your brain really said, let's make this worse for fun. Number 15. Talking to yourself like it's normal, because it is. You're walking around, muttering under your breath like a cartoon villain. Or maybe you're arguing with yourself in the mirror like it's a courtroom drama. Is this fine? Totally. In fact, talking to yourself, especially out loud, is linked to better focus, memory, and emotional regulation. Psychologists call this self-directed speech, and it's basically the adult version of narrating your life like you're the main character in a BBC nature documentary. It helps with organizing thoughts, managing stress, and sometimes just keeping yourself company. Some studies even suggest that athletes and professionals perform better when they coach themselves out loud. So no, you're not losing it. You're just giving your brain a pep talk in surround sound. The real problem is when you start arguing with yourself and lose. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.